It was on lap 35. Michael Waltrip on the Aaron's rent. Obviously, this is an Aaron's event, moving past Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, taking the lead right there. I mean, Michael's extremely strong right now. He's figured out how to make this top groove work, and his car is just really on a rail at this moment. And he just actually pretty much waxed the field on and off pit road also.
He's led, as you see, 36 of 77 laps. We've had 5 lead changes. We'll keep an eye on the tires and the pit stops as this continues.
Chris, he looks like he's on a Sunday afternoon ride on Saturday.
And we'll be watching him on Sunday as well. Let's go back upstairs to Mike Joy.
Thanks, Chris. 77 laps complete. You ride in the Aaron's onboard camera with Michael Waltrip. There is Joe Nemechek, early leader, who presently is in 5th place. Dick Berggren.
Remember that strange pit stop where Steve Dixon, the front tire changer, came around to Nemechek's rear of the car and loosened up the lug nuts? The reason for that is Dwayne Bigger was busy in the back end of the car pulling his spring rubber out. Because he was so busy pulling the spring rubber out, he was going to be slow. So Brian Patty sent the front tire changer to the rear to loosen up the lugs. Then he did the left front lugs. That's the fastest possible way to do a pit stop when you're going to have to take extra time in the rear. Smart guy, that Brian Patty. To Matt.
Dick, Todd Bodine pitted on lap 66. This is his left front tire. A little bit of the cords near the outer edge started to come through, but Brett Bodine, Todd's brother, came down, looked at the tires, said they looked very good considering they had 66 laps on them. Todd's car was a little bit tight, but his water was a little high. They wanted to add tape, but they couldn't do that because of the water temperature was reaching so high.
There's Bodine alongside Elton Sawyer. Now, the 2 drivers in the top 10 that have not stopped during this cycle, Hank Parker Jr. and Jason Keller, the 5th place car, we're waiting for them to come to pit road.
That rubber that Dr. Dick was showing us there, I'll tell you how sophisticated we've become. They have different hardnesses of those rubbers. They have some that are real soft and don't make much change in the spring, and they move right up the line there from soft to medium to real hard to make huge changes.
Lead over Bodine, who was in second. The car in second right now is going to pit pretty soon.
Telling Michael Waltrip that Hank Parker Jr. is about to pit and that Todd Bodine is 1.2 seconds off the lead. Brad Baker slow in turn 3. He may be out of fuel, but he will make it back around. Let's crank it up, folks, for those of you with surround sound, and get the full sound of these Busch Grand National racers. Trouble out of turn 2. One car slow in the middle of the racetrack. Parker had run out of gas. They were 3 wide behind him, and the car shooting through the middle piled into Parker. Ashton Lewis. The speed differential, Darrell, between those cars was at least 70 or so miles per hour.
Well, just like we saw last week when Matt Kenseth just pumped it a little bit off the corner and Biffle got into the back. I mean, you imagine what happens when you run out of fuel and just stop. Here's Parker up here, and you can see he's slowing down. He's trying to get down to the inside, and he just pulled right down in front of Ashton Lewis. And here comes
Tim Fedewa.
Tim Fedewa. He has nowhere to go. I'm sure when the car ran out of gas, Hank Parker tried to get down out of the way, knowing that he was going to be in harm's way, and he just drove right down in front of those cars behind him. That's a big hit. One's running wide open, the other's trying to get out of the way and slowing down. Most of these cars are just the way they're made. They don't give you much warning, do they, Larry? They just run out of fuel and they quit. Nothing that Ashton Lewis could do. Parker just ran out of fuel and was trying to get down out of the groove, and here these cats come, and the spotters couldn't even warn him quick enough. Looks like everybody's okay.
And Darrell Ashton had quite a run coming through turn 2 underneath Tim Fedewa. He was going to, but he couldn't quite clear Fedewa before he got to this car out of fuel.
This is a 66 car that got caught up in the mess and into the outside of a training wall. So all these cars are badly damaged. Everybody's fine. Everybody's out walking around. I'm sure somebody's saying, hey, what happened anyway?
That was Hank Parker, who stretched that fuel mileage just 1 lap too far.
The pickups in these fuel cells are so that when they'll run until there's no fuel left in them, and when they run out, they just quit all at once.
Tim Fedewa was an innocent victim. Pulls that car back behind the wall, and pit road is open, and here comes our leader, and just our leader.
I believe everybody else will be.
The rest of them
have
cars are a lap. They haven't caught up yet. Here comes Todd back there. The rest of them are coming with him. See, the set of tires that got up under green don't count against the 3 sets. So they come in, they still got 2 more sets to use.
There's our triple split of the 3 leaders pitting. Let's start with Matt.
Todd Bodine already in his pit stop. They are now just fine-tuning the 00 of Todd Bodine. A half a pound of air pressure out of the right front, a half a pound in the right rear to Steve Burns.
Michael Waltrip making an air pressure adjustment as well. They're going backwards from the way they went last time. Half a pound out of the right front, half a pound out of the right rear as well. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Joe Nemechek is in the pit, as well as Kevin Harvick. It is Harvick who has the greatest amount of problem. He ran over debris on the backstretch, picked up a flat tire as a result of that debris. Right now they've got a tire loose on pit road. Crew member grabs it around to the left side. Pandemonium down here on pit road. Nemechek first one away. Wow.
Harvick gets away, and you see Biffle couldn't quite get all the way in there the way the cars were lined up along the lane. There's Biffle's car.
Yeah, Biffle's, he's not, I don't know if he's out of the box or not. His right rear tire was out of the box.
The right rear, it was actually, I think, on the line, and if it's on the line, you're okay. The right rear is the only one that can be that way, though.
I like Dick's explanation. Pandemonium. That's what it feels like.
Hank Parker's car is pancake-demonium. As we'll go to break under caution at lap 84. And there's the reason why. We'll be right back to Atlanta. You're watching NASCAR on FX.
Well, thanks.
Ashton Lewis had a great run going, and now he has an all torn up race car to show for it. After pit stops, Michael Waltrip, Todd Bodine, Joe Nemechek. We showed you Greg Biffle right on the edge of his pit box. Let's show you why.
Well, you see Michael right here. He's coming out of his pit box, and here comes Biffle, and he says, whoa, I can't get in. So he does the best he can to get the car in the box. I think he was okay. The right rear was on the line, Larry, so I think he's fine.
Another angle of it right here.
Oh, man. How you like to be leading the race and have that happen?
I mean, Biffle was really lucky he could get it even into his pit box. And again, we're going to see his right rear tire hanging out right there.
But it's on the line.
That's legal as long as it's the right rear. The right rear is the only one that can be that way.
86 laps. Michael Waltrip is the leader.
Okay, guys, you know what this means? Reload.
Yes.
Everybody's had a chance now. We got a caution here. Everybody's been in. They've made some adjustments, tires, spring rubbers. Now Michael may have it may be a whole new race. He had the dominant car. Todd Bodine's up there now. Nemechek needed some work on his car, and the points leader there, one of them, Jeff Green, is right up there ready to challenge.
But the unique thing, the pace Michael's been keeping at 85 laps, there's only 11 cars on the lead lap.
Oh yeah, he was putting them down.
There's Todd Bodine, your second place car, behind Michael Waltrip, ahead of Joe Nemechek, Jeff Green, and Jeff Purvis. This is the Aaron's 312 on FX.
Bigger, bolder, funnier.
You wouldn't believe what I found in my shorts.
Just 3 days until the second coming. An all-new season of Son of the Beach premieres Tuesday at 10 on FX.
She's a real beauty. And she never bugs you about spending so much time with the guys. She never complains about you watching football. She thinks a little gas is a good thing. Maybe she isn't a she after all. Here's to the perfect relationship. Here's how to keep it that way.
If you can't stop here, stop here. For 25% off the regular price of Midas BSD brake pads and shoes. They've got a lifetime guarantee. They're quieter, they stop faster, and last longer. Go Midas.
From all the race fans at Aaron Sales and Lease Ownership, a Busch Series race with the drama of 12 extra miles.
12 extra miles?
It's called the Aaron's 312.
What kind of idiot approved 12 extra miles?
Ken Butler.
Hey, what about pit strategy? What about tires? What about fuel? What about you two? Who are you?
We're the Aaron's 312 girls. Ken approved us, too.
The Aaron's 312, Atlanta Motor Speedway, March 10th on FX.
Like I said, I like the way this Butler guy thinks.
Americans love their high-performance Briggs & Stratton engines. That's why just about every neighborhood in America is a Briggs & Stratton neighborhood. Briggs & Stratton, the power that works for you.
It's here, McDonald's next big thing, the new Big and Tasty. Now just 99 cents to celebrate the opening of Disney's California Adventure, Disney's newest theme park, right next door to Disneyland in California. So, how does a 99-cent Big and Tasty sound?
Welcome back to Atlanta. Our coverage of the Aaron's 312 on FX. We've been talking about pit box situation and drivers getting into their pits and getting properly serviced, as we saw with Greg Biffle here just a bit ago under this caution. Jeff Hammond has more.
Yeah, Mike, we talked about earlier, you can get the right rear hung out of the pit box. It's okay. On NASCAR's little card right here that we have, as you can see right here, this is a card that all the crews are given. The crew chiefs especially are given a copy of this so they know beyond a shadow of a doubt what you can get penalized for and what you can't. This is what Greg Biffle did right here, and it says right above it, that's okay. If you notice right here, you get the nose over. That's what the 16 car did, and he was over the line. He got penalized a lap, and they're going green, guys.
Michael Waltrip leads them back to the green flag to begin lap 90. Marty Houston trying to get back on the lead lap as the car inside as Michael goes way up the racetrack, loses the lead. Todd Bodine and Joe Nemechek slip past. Here comes Jeff Green.
Boy, look at the 00 car right there. He just shot out of a cannon over there in the middle of turn 3 and 4, Matt Yoakum.
Larry, the concern for Todd Bodine now is a wheel vibration. After pitting on lap 84, he came on the radio and asked Gary Caldwell's crew chief, did you guys get all the lug nuts tight? They said, yes, we did. He says, we may have a wheel out of balance. Dave Bergeron?
Kevin Harvick ran over debris just during that accident situation. You can see here where the debris cut the tire. His great concern was he didn't want to go fast because he didn't want this tire to tear up. If it did, it would have chewed up his fender, and the crush panels inside would have made the car slow. As it was, he got the job done, got the tire changed, went back out in 6th spot.
Nemechek moves past Bodine for the lead, and Jamie McMurray's in trouble up in turn 1.
Yeah, that started back here in 3 and 4. And man, I tell you what, it almost was the same thing that happened to the 36 car over there when he ran out of fuel. He's probably got a tire down, and he caused a heck of a bunch of cars to back up. Got a car smoking up in the middle of 3 and 4.
Kelly Denton. Everybody's going to get by him on the inside.
Watch this 27 car. They're coming down here. Looks like something happens to the car going in the corner, Larry, and it starts up the racetrack. Right now, he's pedaling, trying to, whoa.
That was Alton Sawyer.
Alton Sawyer just barely squeezed through, and now he knows he's in trouble, and he's bottlenecking everybody up.
He's
and
definitely got a tire going down.
Yeah, he's on pit road with a flat right front.
There you see it right there, the right front tire. Of course, here they run that inner liner, the tire within the tire, and that's the only reason he probably didn't get into a big wreck or hit the wall, is that inner liner held it up.
Kelly Denton, they're saying that's tire smoke as he comes to pit road also. Steve?
And Jamie McMurray is in. It looks like they may be holding him, the NASCAR official holding up a finger. They have finished work on the right side. Took him a long time, and yes, they are going to hold him. He evidently was too fast down pit road.
Yeah, that happens a lot of times. You panic, you know, you start down pit road, and here comes one of our top 5 cars. There's a 26 car coming down pit road.
Bobby Hamilton Jr., what's the problem, Matt?
He came on the radio. Bobby Hamilton Jr. said to his crew, the water is now at 255 to 260. He felt like it was starting to push water out, overheating. They're going to raise the hood. They're going to put some water in it to try to cool down this engine. He says the oil pressure is okay, but the car is running very, very hot.
And normally when the water temperature gets that high, you know, you can run 235 or 240 as long as it don't climb. When it gets that high, it's just going to keep climbing.
Yeah, and the engine will eventually just seize up. So the best thing to do is bring it in, work on it. If you can't get it cooled off, park it and race it again another day.
Now you've got Joe Nemechek, who likes the bottom of this racetrack. That's where he's been running, but Michael Waltrip was gaining on him, so they put Nemechek up high. Here's Todd Bodine, who also likes it on the bottom, in 2nd place. He's about 8/10 of a second back.
A lot of times you can change around the setup and make the car work on the bottom.
Here's Michael Waltrip in the 99 running in 4th right now. And as we look at our chart, he's running about the same speed as those other 3. And I noticed on that restart how he lost all that ground. Darrell, I got to believe that maybe they're starting their air pressures a little lower than some of these other guys. Just anticipation of the long run, all the air pressure build up.
Yeah, I believe you're right. His car seems to really be coming back now. He's just passing Green there for 3rd place.
Your call, your call. All clear, all clear.
You heard the spotters say, your call. The spotters are right above us and looking down toward turn 4 where he passed Jeff Green. It's coming straight at him. You can't really tell. That's the reason he says your call. There's the spotters up on top of the press box right there.
Well, you've seen the front 4. Jeff Purvis is the 5th place car as Jeff Green there closes up on Michael Waltrip. There's a look at Purvis, who right now is alone on the racetrack, Steve.
And it's interesting. We're hearing a lot of drivers say the same thing. They feel like they have a vibration. Jeff Purvis called Doug Richard and said, please look at the tires that came off after the last pit stop. I keep feeling a vibration. It feels like the same vibration we had at Las Vegas last weekend. We've heard several drivers reference that. They're just wondering if they're not used to these new tires.
Could be. Here comes Greg Biffle in 6th, chasing after Purvis.
That's exactly what it is. These crews will start to ease the air pressure down, Larry, as you well know. Pound here, a pound there, and they'll keep going down, and all of a sudden, the tires won't feel good until the air pressure builds up in them. And they'll bounce or have a little vibration in them.
Looks like Greg Biffle in the 60 car. He's hunting that high line right there. He's up there about the 3rd groove where Michael's been running.
Plus, the other thing is, don't forget how fast we're going here. If the tire is out of balance at all, any of the wheel or the tire, whatever, you're going to feel it through the steering wheel more than you will other places.
Michael Waltrip on the move underneath Todd Bodine. And Michael moves back up to 2nd place behind Joe Nemechek by about a 1.5 seconds. But there's a good 3-car battle there. Waltrip, Todd Bodine, and Jeff Green. So Nemechek's the leader as we complete 100 laps. Michael Waltrip back up to 2nd. Todd Bodine, Jeff Green, Jeff Purvis, your front 5 here at Atlanta. 100 laps complete in the Aaron's 312 on FX. At Elton Sawyer, who just had a hard crash in turn 2. It started when the 11 of Marty Houston tangled with the 61 of Tim Sauter, and Elton Sawyer came into that scene full bore. Look at the front end of his Brad Akins Ford. Elton is okay.
11 car gets down on the apron, comes back up the racetrack into the 61. Now watch this, when the 61 comes down and Elton hits him running wide open.
There's nowhere for Tim Sauter in the 61 to go, and as they slide down off the banking, just nowhere for Elton Sawyer. What a hit.
And let me tell you, the 61 car, Tim Sauter's lucky that wasn't in the driver's door. It was just behind the driver's door, and that was a blessing.
Once again, the whole problem, the 11 car, Marty Houston, got those left side tires below the white line on the apron, shot him up the racetrack and spun him.
2nd week in a row that Marty Houston has had a single car sprint to bring out a caution. Here's Joe Nemechek, your leader in the pits. So is Michael Waltrip. Todd Bodine completes his service and gets out. Checks away. Jeff Green in the 10, Greg Biffle in the 60.
That's a happy bunch of guys. That was a great stop.
We did note that Elton Sawyer was wearing the HANDS device, the head and neck support that the driver wears as a yoke over his shoulders, under his shoulder harness, and the helmet attaches to that. Now there's Marty Houston walking away. Jeff?
I'm telling you right now, that HANDS device right there may have been the one thing that just saved Elton Sawyer a trip to the hospital today, guys, because we talked about it since Daytona, how that device right there can keep your head from snapping forward, and that right there was one whale of a hit that he just took.
Rescue workers talking with Tim Sauter, who, from what we see, is still inside his car, and there is the remains of the front end of Elton Sawyer's machine. So a hard crash in turn 2 that started with a spin by Marty Houston. Activity continues on pit road. 105 laps complete in the Aaron's 312.
FX welcomes you back to Atlanta at Aaron's 312. We are under caution, lap 101. Michael Waltrip, your leader, with some pit stop action. Let's go down to pit road with Dick Bergman. Dick?
Crew Chief Brian Patty called Joe Nemechek in out of the lead to change 4 tires and put fuel in it. Hadn't been that long since they had already done that, but Brian decided that they needed to have fresh tires in order to be able to keep up with everybody. Meanwhile, Tommy Baldwin, Winston Cup crew chief for Ward Burton, was down here checking. He's doing a little homework for tomorrow. To Steve Burns.
Dick, Michael Waltrip came in. They had a great pit stop. The only thing they adjusted, they took a pound out of the left rear. Jeff Purvis, they took a spring rubber out of the left rear spring. Let's go to Matt.
Todd Bodine was one of 9 drivers in the lead lap to pit on lap 105. He did not like that last set of tires, so they took the opportunity under this caution to make a 4-tire stop. They also took 1 round of wedge out to try to loosen up his race car. To Chris.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a look as repairs are being made and adjustments at what happened in turn 2. Marty Houston of the 11 car tangling with Tim Sauter in the 61 car, who later walked away, went to the care unit. But Jeff Hammond, what's happening right here?
As you can see, 11 car, Marty Houston got down on the apron. The car has gotten around on him. He's starting back up the racetrack. And as he goes up the racetrack, you'll see a red car, the number 61 car, Tim Sauter, who comes in. He has no place to go. They get together. Sauter bounces off the wall and comes back across the racetrack. About this time, you see the 98 car, Elton Sawyer, just drills him right there in the left rear quarter panel, and he is just extremely lucky.
Just a tremendous impact on that hit. And you look at the car of Elton Sawyer, but he was able to get out, and without any noticeable injury, he is somewhat relaxed wearing the Hans device. And I wanted to mention, Jeff, that Jeff Gordon, who was the first Winston Cup driver to win a race last week with the Hans device, said more drivers will be wearing this in Atlanta.
Right there around the back of his neck, you can see this is the Hans device. Right here. This is the Hans device.
And that protects the head from...
That's right. It attaches to his helmet, but he's already hit the quick releases, which are right here, to release them from the helmet so that he can get out of the car. But as you saw, he can get out of the car with the device on if necessary.
It's something other drivers will be looking into. More Winston Cup drivers will be wearing the Hans device tomorrow. More on that on our pre-race show on Fox when we bring you the race tomorrow. We're continuing here under caution at the Aaron 312 on FX. Michael Waltrip, your leader, and there he is in and out of the pits. We'll be back with more from FX in a moment.
Anyone? Get inside the live racing action with Racecast. Any driver, every lap. Only at NASCAR.com. America Online keyword NASCAR.
Welcome back on FX, Aaron's 312, the Busch race. Later today, the final practice for tomorrow's Winston Cup race. You'll see that on FX following this race, as the drivers can make their way through. And then Sunday, NASCAR this morning, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. That's on Fox Sports Net. Then catch the race here, the Cracker Barrel 500 from Atlanta, 12:30 Eastern. Our pre-race show, Bonnie Labonte will be joining us. And then it all wraps up on Fox Sports Net at Victory Lane. Here's a quick pit stop summary. Again, Michael Waltrip, our leader. We've had 8 lead changes with 6 different drivers, but this tells some of the story.
Well, right now you see where Michael's gone back in the lead because of a great pit stop, but also Todd Bodine's woes in the pits are continued. He was 3rd coming in, now he's back 7th again. So, I mean, they got to work on their pit stops if this boy wants to win a race again.
As we continue on FX, there is your leader, Michael Waltrip. Let's go back upstairs. Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Joy.
5 of Michael Waltrip's 8 Busch Series wins have come on super speedways, 2 at Charlotte, 2 at Dover, 1 at Darlington. Now, last week, Todd Bodine overcame 2 botched pit stops, including one where they ended up retightening some lug nuts when he was out of the box. You see, he pulls out, they haul him to a stop and say, come back, we got to redo this. And he does.
But he's out of the pit box. And this was kind of, I think, a wake-up call for NASCAR. I think it kind of caught them off guard what went on here. And I was told by David Hoots just a little while ago, actually, that in the drivers' meeting this morning for the Busch race and in tomorrow's drivers' meeting for the Winston Cup race, they will stress, if you work on that car, even if you're redoing something or making a mistake better or fixing it, you got to get back in your pit box or 1-lap penalty.
David Hoots, the race director. Now, as Jeff explained earlier, there's even a card handed out how you must get into the pits to make your pit stops, but there's really nothing printed about if you have to back up or have to have something done. So they've clarified that for the teams. Let's crank it up for this restart, folks. 57, Joe Nemechek, has come to the lead.
And the 74 car, Chad Little right there, he's on the tail end of the lead lap, fighting, trying to stay out there, hopefully get a caution, just like Ryan Newman, the 02 car there. Both these guys at the tail end of the lead lap trying to get a caution, get that lap back. Chad Little's going to lose his back right here.
They can see behind them, they keep fighting too, because I tell you what, these guys are all over the place. You know, we've lost 11 cars out of this race already. We're down to 30 cars, and attrition's been a little high today.
And let's reiterate, the 3 drivers involved in that hard crash in turn 2 are all okay. Marty Houston, Elton Sawyer, and Tim Sauter. In fact, Jeannie is caught up with Elton.
Yeah. Elton Sawyer, a proud owner of a Hans device, yes?
Yes, ma'am. Wow, what a hit. I've never in my life hit that hard. I saw the smoke, and Tim Sauter, the next thing I saw was the 61 coming down, and the spot had already said go low. When I turned, man, he come in my windshield so fast, and I'm a little sore in my chest area, but wow, if I hadn't had that device on, my head would have been all in that steering wheel. So thanks to Jim Downing and Bob Hubbard, really appreciate it. Hate it from my Georgia Bulldog car. It was wasn't where we needed it to be. It was a little loose, but we found a pretty good groove up top, and I was liking that, and thought we were going to have a pretty good, maybe a top 15 day, but look forward to Darlington.
I take solace in the fact you're sitting here in one piece, and we're glad to see that. Mike?
Robert Hubbard was a professor at Michigan State when he developed the Hans device in conjunction with sports car racer Jim Downing from here in Atlanta.
Look at this battle for second right here, Greg.
Whoa, no, don't do that.
Whoa, Ryan Newman into the outside wall there.
Somebody got into the back of him and got him started up the hill. That's what I was hollering about. He's lucky that he got hit from behind. He's lucky that he hung on to it at all. And yes, Mike, he pancaked.
Yeah, he slapped it pretty hard there, Darrell.
You know, 5 of the 6 drivers there in the top 6 are all Winston Cup drivers. And that's something we had talked about. Maybe that experience would probably pay off today.
Right now, he's got all the tire smoke and being filled inside, being filled with smoke.
He's down low, and that 8 car comes up there and gets it. That's when I started hollering right there, and I knew he was in trouble. And he gets up there and gets in that gray stuff. A lot of sand and rubber and dirt get on your tires. Car won't cut. Into the wall he goes.
That was Blaze Alexander, an 8 car that actually got into the back of him.
And we're going to stay green as Newman limps around and makes it onto pit road.
And he's going to be too fast, I think, down pit road.
I guarantee you he'll be sitting there for a few minutes extra.
Matt?
The 02 does come to a stop. They are going to work on the right side. He was speeding down pit road, a rookie mistake. They told him to be patient. We'll fix this car once it gets in, but he did speed. They are going to make a chassis adjustment. You can see the wedge wrench in the back window, discussing things very slow. The trouble with the jack. Boy, when things go wrong, they certainly have gone wrong now for Ryan Newman. A very slow stop. He had made it back out of the tail end of the lead lap. Now the 2 cars slowing on the track, Mike.
The 2 car got up against the wall coming off turn 2 over. Just he got pushed up high and got into the outside wall. Not hard, but he got up in that loose stuff. And the longer this race goes on, the dirtier it gets up there. You get up out of that groove. That's the problem with running that high line. You can get into the fence real easy.
Harvick drops back to 9th place.
He didn't do a lot of damage to his car, but he just got against it a little bit coming off of turn 2 and slowed him down. I don't think it hurt the car that much.
Don't see any tire smoke. Boy, you got to give a call to Jason Keller in the 57 car. Fought that car earlier in the race. His crew decided to pit under those earlier cautions. Didn't change tires, made some adjustments. He stayed out and caught a caution and stayed on the lead lap, and they worked their way into the 8th position.
I'll show you again what happened to Kevin Harvick.
He's just up there, and you know, like I said, he gets up in that high groove. Like, see that dirt and dust flying up? That's sand, rubber, and all that stuff off the racetrack. And you know, I don't think he really hit the wall. I think he just got sideways and corrected and lost his momentum, but he's back going again.
You can run where it's black, but you can't run where it's gray.
That's exactly right. He jumped the cushion.
Here's your leader, Joe Nemechek. Greg Biffle is now closed to within a second of the lead.
Well, this ought to be a track, and that car with Mark Martin has won a lot of races here, and this track is coming around to where that car ought to be the best car on the track. This is Mark Martin conditions right now. Kind of hot, slick, everybody slipping around. He's hammered down.
Greg Biffle came close to the Truck Series Championship in NASCAR 2 years ago, won it last year, and owner Jack Roush promoted him here to the NASCAR Busch Series. Very aggressive driver. Asked him about that. He said, well, that's how you had to run the trucks. You had to be aggressive with those trucks every lap to make them go. These cars are different.
And what I like about him, Darrell, is he gets more out of that race car than there. He's the only driver so far this year, a rookie, that has led in all 3 races. He's always on that wheel. He's always fighting it. He's getting everything out of it.
Yeah, you know, I was surprised when Jack moved the young kid up, Biffle, to the Winston Cup. And didn't move Biffle up when he moved, what's the kid's name?
Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch. When he moved Kurt Busch up, I thought Biffle would have been a better candidate. If I was the owner, that's the way I'd have done it.
The way Roush explained it, he said, yes, Biffle has more experience, but Busch reads a new racetrack better than anyone he'd seen in some time. So that was the reason given at the time. You saw Michael Waltrip lose a spot.
Yeah, his car's not as good as it was. They've made some changes, obviously, in the pits, and they've gone the wrong way. Saw that happen to him a couple times. Saw it happen to him at Rockingham in the Winston Cup race. Got up there on that high line and was really moving, but then as the race wore on, that didn't work for him.
This is your lead battle right here.
You got to give a call to Brian Patty, though, Joe Nemechek's crew chief. Brought him in early under green, had the unique pit stop where they got the rubber out. Greg Biffle's running him down right now in the 60 car, but definitely improved that car tremendously with that change.
Yeah, I think he's still getting loose on the long run, though.
That's Brian Patty right there. Joe Nemechek's crew chief. Been with Joe a number of years.
And just a young kid, too. He's not all that old.
Nemechek, Biffle, Kenseth, Bodine, Green, and now Waltrip has fallen back to 6th place, Steve.
With crew chief Bobby Kennedy. Bobby, you had a great pit stop, but you're falling back. What's wrong with the car?
Just a little bit tight right now. Running real low air, and it takes us a little bit to get going, but running about the same as the leader right now, so I think we'll be okay.
He's caught back up to Jeff Green.
I don't know, Darrell. When a car starts pushing and getting tight at Atlanta, the only thing normally fixes it is 4 more tires and some adjustments.
That's exactly right. And the problem is just like I've said before, he has fallen so far behind that by the time his car comes in, the leader's way over here on the front straightaway.
Talking about leaders, we're about a lap away, I think, from a lead change. Greg Biffle is pulled right up to the rear bumper of Joe Nemechek in the 87 car.
And you can believe Biffle's getting some good coaching. I mean, he's got Jeff Burton down there, and he's got Mark Martin down there, and he's got Jack Roush down there. He's got a lot of good help.
Biffle hunting the lead at 129 laps, 74 to go in this 312-mile race. Joe Nemechek continues to lead the Aaron's 312 on FX.
A terrible tragedy. A naked cover-up. James Caan. This goes way beyond his loyalty.
We have a new leader in Atlanta. Here's how it happened. Greg Biffle going after Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, I think Nemechek probably said, well, you know, Biffle's coming hard. He's pretty fast. I believe I'll pull down and let him go by.
Is that hard to do as a veteran driver, just to let somebody go, Darrell?
No, it really isn't for somebody like Nemechek, who knows this car is not exactly like he'd like it. They've helped it a lot. He keeps improving it, but this is no time to make the issue, press the issue. Let him go, get one more stop in. Maybe we can make the car good enough where I don't have to do that.
Well, Michael Waltrip just made a strong move on Todd Bodine to move up to 4th, and that is the only car on the track right now that's as quick as Greg Biffle. Looking at the lap times, Matt.
And this morning, Michael Waltrip made a big announcement that this team will run the entire Busch Series schedule in 2002. He also announced that Shauna Robinson will drive this 99 car at Talladega, Texas, and Nashville. They are also trying to put together a deal to run Kerry Earnhardt in a couple races this year, trying to pay back a big favor that Dale Earnhardt gave Michael.
Shauna Robinson, the first woman to win a pole in the NASCAR Busch Series. She did it right here in Atlanta.
And she's the best female driver I've ever seen. I mean, she really has a lot of talent. She runs in the ARCA Series. She runs a little short tracks, little half miles, gets in there and beats and bangs with the best of them. She goes to Daytona or Talladega, and she's right there with them all the time.
Brad Baker getting overlapped by Greg Biffle. 137 laps complete here. We've had 5 cautions for 24 laps and 12 different lead changes among 7 leaders. 30 of the 43 starters still running.
All right, here comes, you know, I like to talk about at the line now. Here comes the leader. He's at the line now. And we'll look back, and you can see what about 5 seconds. Look, there goes Mikey right there.
There you see Michael Waltrip is quicker on this last lap.
By a lot. I mean, he's got that high. The car came in, he got back up high, and he's making good time.
31 flat.
Matt Kenseth is in.
31.35.
He was our third place car at that point.
65 laps to go, Larry. This is final stop.
I think it's a little bit short, but he can go the distance from here. You know, we've seen him run around 65 laps. It's a little bit, could be a little strategy here, but I thought it was an awfully short. I would at least probably run up to lap 150.
Yeah, that's exactly when he ran out of gas before, Larry. It was right around this time. So maybe
they've got a problem on this car. You see him pulling tape off.
Got it plugged in yet?
Yeah, they're running hot. What he's doing right there, what this guy's doing right here, there's a quick fill right there, and they're trying to get a high-pressure hose on it to shoot water into the radiator. He was running hot. We've seen a lot of that today.
But that car runs hot a lot. You know, I see him in his Winston Cup car. They run hot a lot.
Let's pick up the 6th place battle. Jason Keller, and you're riding with Jeff Purvis. Our MBNA Cam in 7th place.
Purvis is doing a good job today. I mean, he's been right there in the top 10, and he's running that high line.
Clear.
For more on Purvis, here's Steve.
Well, Jeff Purvis is complaining that this car is too tight right now. He's having trouble turning it. They're going to make a wedge adjustment on their last pit stop.
And that adjustment could be, you know, as little as a half a turn can affect the way these cars handle. A half a pound of air pressure, a half a turn on the wedge boat. There he is. He's in there, and you can see his hands on the steering wheel.
31,
it's a little dark right there now.
That's it, man. Get that rhythm.
He knows we're watching him. He hit his hand. There you go. You get turning a big handful into the corner.
Going after Keller.
Now see how smooth he tries to be off. Don't fight with the car off the corner. Takes a little effort to get it down in there, but once it's in there, you got to be real smooth with it off the corner, or the thing will come around with you. This could be, he's complaining about a little tight. Watch his hands go over the top. Tight's when you go in the corner and the car wants to go up the track, and we're seeing a lot of them do that. That's when the car's tight. You got the wheels turned, but she's going up the hill. When those hands get around there like that, the car's just way too tight. It usually slows it down. Driver likes it. It's not really a problem for him because he can control it with the accelerator, but it's not fast.
And what it does, it really hurts the straightaway speed because you have to back off right at the exit of the corner.
Yeah, it's just not fast when it's that way.
And that's reflected in his lap times. Jeff Purvis's times right now are 2 to 4 tenths of a second slower than race leader Greg Biffle. Here is Biffle, the only driver to lead every race this year in the NASCAR Busch Series. And Jeannie has an update on one of the drivers involved in that turn 2 wreck.
Well, guys, first of all, let me say Tim Sauter is fine. He walked out of the care center. He's a little banged up, but no worse for the wear, and very happy to be in one piece because he said his helmet was cracked. He took a really bad shot to the head. He thought he could get through the spin, but then he got caught up in it. And he did say the reason it took him a while to get out of the car is because he went unconscious, but very happy to be walking out of the care center. And he told me he's just going to go rest for a while.
Good that he's okay. Thanks, Jeannie. 145 laps complete. Greg Biffle running 31.2 seconds. Michael Waltrip is 2 tenths quicker than our race leader.
I mean, he is by far the fastest car. Maybe Bobby Kennedy was telling us right. Them pressures is built up. He's moved to the top of the racetrack. Now he's running down Joe Nemechek for this 2nd place.
Oh, he's so much faster through the middle of the corner. Watch him close down on Joe.
But he picks that throttle up way before the center of the corner.
Well, that's the good thing about being up high like that. You can just get back in the gas so much quicker. You just make the track a lot bigger. The car doesn't have to turn so sharp.
Look how bright the sun is here going into turn 1. This is a real problem. Look at him. He's got to run on the high side. Joe Nemechek on the bottom side there in 87.
And see, that's a veteran right there. Joe Nemechek, he sees Michael's faster. He doesn't race him. He doesn't try to hold him up. He lets him go. Fall in behind him and follow him. Maybe he can learn something.
Time of this pass, note this, Michael Waltrip is 1.5 seconds behind leader Greg Biffle. Let's see if he can close in when we come back.
Oh, here we go.
Biffle's streak of leading every race continue? We'll find out next week in Darlington, South Carolina, Saturday, 12:30 Eastern on Fox. And then March 24th in Bristol, Tennessee, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on FX. And then in Texas, March 31st. We're on Fox at 1 p.m. Eastern time with the NASCAR Busch Series. Greg Biffle is leading Michael Waltrip. That margin has stayed constant, 1.6 seconds, first to second. Dick Berggren.
Well, Greg knows all about that margin, Mike, because he is multitasking this afternoon. He's got more voices in his ear than a television racetrack announcer. He has got people telling him on virtually every lap, not only his lap times, but also the lap times of Michael Waltrip and Joe Nemechek behind him. And they're telling him what lines Michael Waltrip and Joe Nemechek are running. It's an incredible job that he is doing, Biffle, in paying attention to all this information and not losing his focus on the racetrack.
What they don't know is he doesn't have his radio on.
I'll bet he does.
I've had him do that to me, and I just turned it down where I barely could hear him. But like I told you, he's got a lot of coaches and a lot of teachers over there working with him, and he's in a great race car, and he's performing exceptionally well.
Michael 1.6 seconds back. Let's compare their speeds this lap. Pretty close.
Michael makes a little move, you know, he gains a little and then he loses a little. They're pretty equal. I don't see much difference in the two cars right now, Larry.
No, again, it's like the catch and lap traffic now. The real thing, we talked about this last week at Las Vegas. We're about 5 to 10 laps away from that final green flag pit stop. What Michael Waltrip's crew chief, Greg Biffle's crew chief, all these guys are doing, they're getting that team together. Look, just a good solid stop. No mistakes. They're talking to the drivers. Don't speed down pit road. This is the stop that counts, guys.
All right, we want to be here for pit stops, so we'll take our pit stop now. 156 laps complete in the Aaron's 312 on FX. Michael Waltrip has just suffered a 22.5-second pit stop to replace tires after receiving right side damage against the wall at turn 2. Now we're still under green. Race leader Joe Nemechek, or excuse me, not the leader, but Joe Nemechek has come onto pit road.
These are pretty much routine pit stops right here.
Good stop. Leader Greg Biffle stays out on the racetrack. Now watch first what happened to Biffle.
It's up off turn 2. Just
see his hands. See his hands are going down to the right. Yeehaw! I'd say his tires are worn out. I'd say that's probably a product of worn out tires. Same thing here with Michael. Michael's up, way up there against the wall. I mean, literally up against it. Whoa! He pancaked it. I'd be surprised that didn't do a little more damage than just bend sheet metal on his car.
But he rode it off the wall and brought it around to pit road.
Well, it was time for a stop, so, you know, it didn't really throw him out of sequence that much, but did a lot of damage to the right side of that car.
Jeff Green, the 5th place car, is in. Jeannie?
Well, guys, one man's pain is another man's opportunity. Jeff wasn't going to come in for another 15 laps, but what happened to the 99 car accommodated him. He did not like the set of tires that was on the car, so he will get more, and he's off. And he's going to get some help, by the way, guys, with 92. Jimmy Johnson's agreed to help him catch the leaders. Matt?
Todd Bodine's in for his final scheduled pit stop. It will be a 4-tire change. They're going to go back to some chassis settings they had on the previous pit stop. They took one round out. The car actually got tighter. They're going to put that back in. They are also going to adjust the 00 of Todd Bodine with air pressure. And now he's down and away. 18.5 seconds.
Those guys will be celebrating with 18.5. What they've been through the last couple weeks.
Leaders in. Greg Biffle comes to, or excuse me, not Biffle. I'm sorry, that's the 74 of Chad Little. In the glare, it looked much like Biffle's car. Mike McLaughlin getting service. We're told that he has only 4th gear, which has dropped him down the running order somewhat.
That's really going to hurt him when he has to leave the pit lane here. Although he's getting out pretty well.
Let's watch from Michael Waltrip's onboard camera what happened up there in turn 2.
This is one of the problems with running up high in that high groove. I mean, he didn't hit it hard, but it doesn't take a lot to knock the toe off or to bend the fenders all in on the tires.
How's that car, Steve?
Well, guys, it's interesting. We heard Michael Waltrip talking to Bobby Kennedy when he was coming down pit road. He said, guys, don't do much to it. I don't think it's hurt that badly. So they changed 4 tires and made sure the sheet metal wasn't running, but Michael didn't feel like he had done that much damage.
Michael working through a pack of cars there, including Jason Keller, who you see just ahead on the left. And P.J. Jones is in that group. Here's your leader, Greg Biffle, who now enjoys a 20-second advantage on Jeff Purvis.
Yeah, but he can't stay out there much longer because you had Joe Nemechek, you had Jeff Green in there, and they're going to be back out there running about 3/4 to a second faster than he is. They need to get this car on pit road and quit giving up all that time.
We're told he's coming this time, Larry.
I told him that he better get that thing in there.
So Purvis will then pick up the lead. He's about 19 seconds back right now. You're riding with their Purvis.
And Biffle on pit road.
Pit road is a long way at 45 miles an hour. Yep. The only way they know how to maintain it is through the tag. Dick Berggren, how about our leader coming into the pits? Well, the big question is whether they were going to put a spring rubber in the right rear of the car. Crew chief Randy Goss wanted to do it. Jack Roush didn't want to do it. They're going to try to put it in anyway. These guys are as fast as anybody at throwing a spring rubber in or hauling one out. In fact, they may be the fastest pit crew anywhere at doing that. Kyle Hardy's the guy in the back end. He changes the rear tires. That's his responsibility. Zoom all the way around to the left side already. He's done a great job if, in fact, he got that rubber in. Left side going on. They've got to clean the grill. They're running hot at 230. Wow, good stop, 1940. He got it in there, and he did a good job. You didn't even hardly know the difference.
He just slid her right in there. Cat in the hat. He liked that.
We'll see if that's the right strategy, as here comes Todd Bodine on new tires, whipping past Jeff Purvis on old tires. We'll be right back with more NASCAR on FX. Oh. Welcome back to Atlanta. Our coverage of the Aaron's 312. Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds. Joe Nemechek back out front. Greg Biffle 5.5 seconds behind. And of the young guns that started toward the front, Biffle's having the best day. Kevin Harvick, who was outside pole, just went a lap down. Ryan Newman, the pole sitter, is out of the race. Scott Wimmer still on the lead lap, started 4th, now running in 14th position. And Ashton Lewis, who started 8th, got caught up in a wreck not of his making, and is one of the 13 cars in the garage.
And Biffle's got all kinds of problems. He's got lap cars up there in front of him, and he's going to run out of laps.
Dick Berggren?
Well, Greg Biffle has just called into his crew, and he has told them that he is driving the car for all it is worth. In case you're wondering, he can't drive any harder than he's going right now. Meanwhile, Randy Goss called back and told Biffle that he should remember that last time around, the 87 Nemechek slowed down more than he did on old tires. Psychology? Maybe. We'll see.
5.4 seconds, and Biffle is a little quicker than Nemechek this lap.
Yeah, that's not psychology. The only thing I questioned was, why would you put a spring rubber in the car that was leading the race?
Well, and I think the difference in what they've got now, 5.5 seconds between first and second, is that little extra time to put that spring rubber. But also I want to point out, Joe Nemechek was one of the first cars on pit road at lap 161. They waited till lap 168, 7 laps later on Biffle. That equated probably to about a half a second a lap on those fresher tires.
Yeah, well, he's close. The gap on him, there's no question about that. He's a little quicker, but man, I don't know if I'd have worked on my car if it was running that good. But you know, we have seen time and time again, Nemechek slows down after 20-25 laps.
Darrell, now I've worked with you, I don't know how many times. If you thought you could make your race car better, we'd work on it. Now don't tell us that. You know better than that.
I know what you would have told me, though. You said, man, the green flag pit stop. We can't do that.
Matt Kenseth has climbed from his car. Jeannie?
So I'm with him right now. I guess every 10 laps, the temperature was up in the car, got to 260 degrees. You guys kept overheating. Is that why you called today here?
Yeah, we just kept having problems after problems. The Visine car ran really good today, and first ran out of gas, and then we didn't have a good pit stop. We getting ourselves too far in the hole, and finally something happened. We started using water, and the car kept getting hot, so instead of blowing the engine up, we decided to call it a day.
A couple of back-to-back back-to-back tough races. Go get them next week, but more importantly, happy birthday.
It was a tough day for us. I thought we had a lot of bad luck. Like I said, I thought the Visine car was real fast.
Happy birthday.
And thanks for wishing me happy birthday. Hopefully I'll do better tomorrow.
Yeah, go relax.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Matt Kempson. Happy birthday to you. And by the way, Martha, too.
Martha needs Joe's mom. Joe is out in front.
Hey, Darrell, there's one thing about it. I'm prepared for you. If you're going to sing for us, brought a pitch fight. Let me get you on the right tune now, buddy. Okay? To be here. This is right here, okay? Can you do that?
Lower.
Lower?
He doesn't have a pitch pipe. He's got a one-note harmonica down there.
Now they've entertainment down there in the hotel.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
got it at Hollywood Hotel.
Back on the track, we have 20 laps to go, and Joe is your leader over Greg Biffle, Todd Bodine, Mike Tripp, and Jeff Green. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Atlanta, where the Aaron's 312 has seen 13 lead changes among 8 different leaders. 6 cars up on that lead lap. And Greg Biffle trying to close on Joe Nemechek for that lead. Here's what happened to him just a moment ago.
He just got loose getting in the corner. He gets the back end around. Man, I don't think he hurt it that much, kind of like what Michael did to his car. Sure didn't slow him down a whole lot, but he got loose getting in there, and that's that rubber in the right rear, and I tell you, I wouldn't have done that.
But he's losing a lot of ground. He had went under 4 seconds behind Joe. Now he is 7 seconds here with about 14 laps to go.
Now, Larry, he caught that wall pretty good. Can you afford to stop? Do you need to stop?
No, you can't stop. It's not smoking the tires. It just did some body damage. I don't think it hurt anything else. It probably knocked the toe out. But in the position he's in right now, if he can just make it to the finish, he'll be, second place probably.
Yeah, they've got the spotter looking, making sure he don't see any tire smoke, any tire rub, and they're just telling him, here, look, we got 13 laps to go. We just need to finish this thing.
Let's show you speeds this lap. Here comes Nemechek. He's the race leader by 7.7 seconds.
There he is at the line. And here comes Biffle right there.
That's over 8 seconds. He continues to lose about 3 to 4 tenths a lap.
He'll have his work cut out of for him just holding on to second place with the damage to the car.
He's 6 seconds in front of Todd Bodine in the 00 car. So, again, they're just trying to nurse that thing home. This is Joe Nemechek's teammate right here. He owns that car, Randy LaJoy, in the 7 car.
Well, that took a lot of pressure off of Nemechek. He knew Biffle was closing up a little bit, but now he can just basically take his time.
There's Biffle, and now you're going to see Todd Bodine and Michael Waltrip coming up on Todd Bodine as they cycle through.
There you go, right there. Michael has been chasing Todd down, and Michael hit the wall a lot like Biffle did, and I thought it might have done a lot of damage, but looks like he's going to continue on and finish the race.
A lot of glare in the windshield from our Aaron's onboard camera on Michael Waltrip.
Always like that going into turn 1 this late in the afternoon.
Oh, man, it's just driving you crazy. You can't see anything. You rely on the spotter. That's what you rely on.
Windshield gets sandblasted, tire rubber, grease, and then you throw the sun in there. You just follow the image of a car getting off in the corner.
10 laps to go.
But you've been going around here all afternoon. You kind of know where you're going.
I don't know if I'm gonna buy that one.
I wondered if you'd like that explanation or not.
8.4 seconds first to second. Another 6 seconds back to the third place car, Dick.
Joe Nemechek has faced adversity on several occasions this weekend, but neither he nor his crew have become flustered as a result. On his time trial, the rear end blew apart just as he crossed the start-finish line on the very first lap. He held his breath, hoped the car wouldn't spin out, hoped he would get there, and indeed, he wound up with a good qualifying position. Today, during the race, on several occasions, his car has not been just right. He's drifted back. The conversation between Nemechek and his crew chief, Brian Patty, has always been careful, always reserved, always confident. And now here they are in the closing laps, getting ready potentially to win the race.
His lead is now bulged to 9 seconds.
That was Joe's wife, Andrea. She has stood on top of many a pit box along with his mom, Martha, and waved him on. Look, here's the 99 and 00. This is for third place here with about 7 or 8 laps to go. Jay Sauter in the 43 car laps down.
And another lap car.
Yeah, it's
Rick Bickle.
Yeah, Bickle down there, and he had to pull down, and Michael didn't get back in line. Cost him a good bit of time. He just up on the back of the bumper of Todd, and those slow cars got in the way.
Tim Fiedel has gone to the garage as Nemechek leads by 9 seconds. 7 to go.
This is where Brian Patty just tells him, look, you got a 9-second lead. Pick and choose where you pass your lap traffic. Be smooth. We'll keep you posted. Spotter's on top of his job. There's Brian Patty, his crew chief. Been up there a lot of times for a lot of Joe Nemechek's wins. Just be smooth, Joe. We got it here if we just be smart.
There's Greg Biffle, your second place car. 9.4 seconds back. It looks like he may be able to hang on to that second place. The cars behind him are locked up with race traffic. Good run for Biffle today. Good, strong, solid, kind of championship contending kind of run. And that number 60 team, remember Mark Martin drove that car in the past. The number 60 has now led all 10 Atlanta Busch Series races.
And guys, he led it today, but I guarantee you he's going to be in victory lane many times. There's the 00 right there, Todd Bodine. This is third right there.
Yeah, he's pretty much busted through that pack of traffic that now Michael Waltrip has to fight through.
And that's what they've been doing too. I mean, I've been watching that little bit of that crowd right there, and they are having to fight their way through because it's the end of the race. Everybody's running for position one way or another.
Guys, we keep going back to that first pit stop. Joe Nemechek, they made that gutsy call, pulled that spring rubber out of that right rear. That old car was getting loose, wearing that right rear tire out. They decided to get that rubber out early. Let's make adjustments. Joe's wife, Andrea.
Tomorrow, Nemechek will start 11th in the Winston Cup race on Fox.
I got to believe what you learned today in these cars now, the way they run this so close to the same speed as a Winston Cup car, is going to pay off for you tomorrow. It's going to pay big dividends for tomorrow.
In 9 Busch Series appearances, he has only one top 5 finish, 5th place in 1997. He's coming closer and closer to victory lane today. 3 laps to go. Biffle now 10 seconds back, but that's still 4 seconds ahead of Todd Bodine.
And Bodine's streak is going to end. He's not going to win 3 in a row. It doesn't look like. I mean, we don't want to count anything off just yet, but still to run second today. Third right now, yeah. It's 2 wins and a third in the last 3 races. That's pretty impressive.
Take that to the bank.
For a guy that was only going to do a 1-race deal.
Right. Driver, yeah.
That brings Todd into the picture. Michael Waltrip trying to run him down.
They've been all over each other, but to no avail.
White flag for Joe Nemechek. Looking for his first win since Talladega last April.
Todd Bodine up in the middle of 3 and 4.
He's going to make it around and finish this race as Nemechek heads off in the corner on his final lap. We stay green. In his 195th Busch Series start, Joe Nemechek picks up his 10th series victory. Looking for Greg Biffle.
He's somewhere back there. There he is.
Second place car. Todd Bodine was 3rd. Michael Waltrip will finish 3rd. But here's what happened to Todd.
It's down in the middle of turn 3 and 4. Got up there in the gray stuff. Right side tires up there. Just run out of racetrack there.
The back end just got a little bit loose. Same thing happened to Biffle. Got a little loose getting into 3. Got him up the track, and you can see how dirty it is up there.
From the Aaron's camera on board Michael Waltrip.
And I'm sure he's working real hard, driving down in there real hard, trying to hold Michael off, and just got in there a little too hard on the last lap. Gets up high,